Hmm. Hello. Yes, it's been a while. Mainly because there's been no Mortal Kombat movie news until now. We've got some solids, so we know some things, and we don't know some things. I know things. I know things. I know things. But yeah, it seems that we got some more information on the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. Not really details to get amped up quite yet. Mainly to do with the movie's gonna be better than the first one. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. No real details. It'd be nice to have some details, some deets. We know Cole's gonna be back, Cole Young. But what role is he going to play this time? Because I think many of us feel that Liu Kang should be the spearhead. So let's just hope that they don't go full blown Cole Young and have him win everything. But there's plans that I have personally that I would do for him, but I'll get into that later. So yeah, it seems that Mortal Kombat 2 seems to be just over the horizon in terms of, it's just about going to be, in production. So it's almost there. So I'm just getting, I want to get myself amped up, but there's nothing there for me to get amped up about at the moment. So I'm kind of a bit reserved. But what I'm going to do today is just go over realistically what could we expect in the film. What do we think they're going to go with? And then after, I'm just going to go over what I would do and what I expect. Basically, it's just a quick recap of things that I think could possibly make it into the film. Just my personal ideas. So what I'm going to do is, I'll show you this logo for a start. I put this together. I put this little edit together. Trying to like get into the mood. Going through my old edits, and I spotted this one. I'm like, yeah, I'll put that up. I'll put that into my thumbnail. So I got that into my thumbnail. Then I've got it here showing you in all its glory. So yeah, trying to get into the mood of the possible Mortal Kombat 2 sequel. What this logo could look like. So yeah, good times ahead. Hopefully, we definitely need something more than what we got before. Even though it was a good prequel, I think we still expected a bit more. But then on the other hand, we kind of expected a bit less in terms of, especially Goro coming and going. I could talk all day about the bad side of it, what they could have changed. Goro could have been saved. They didn't need to kill him off. They could have him beaten or pulled away. They didn't need to kill him off. But, there's ways to get around it, which I'll try and discuss later. It's not going to be that long of a stream. I'm going to try and keep to about half an hour, even if that. So we'll get into it. What do we expect? Well, the main thing, we expect the tournament itself. That's number one at the front. The tournament's got to be the most expected thing. On Shang's Island, are we going to expect anything different this time? Or is it going to be, or is Shang's Island going to be something more like what we see in MKX? Almost like an updated version of the first Mortal Kombat game. I'd hope so. not just for nostalgia feels, but it seems to be like the thing to look at. You know, you got the courtyard, you know, Shang's palace, especially when it comes to like the best stage, which is the pit. um, I have my gripes about the warrior shrine. I don't get how you can have shrines to the warriors that are there to fight. I don't get that. So I hope that if they do a warrior shrine, um, have warriors that you know you think, oh, I wonder who that is. Oh, I wonder who that is, and then you can add a bit of like uh, some what do they call Easter eggs in there. You can have a look a statue of Ermac, you know, have him there, you know, which is a nod to Shaolin monks. You know, you could have that. Um, what else could we expect? Well, it's hard because they're beginning to change the rules on what we expect. So it's going to be really hard to try and nail down what we could expect. So it's more speculation, but I'm going to try and ground it. Do I expect a lot of death? Well, yes. But do I expect them to kill off main characters? Yes and no. Because they've already killed off Kung Lao, but there's a way to bring him back. So if they do it in the tournament, is there going to be a way to bring them back and have us feel for these characters again? You know. So yeah, there's going to be main character death, but do they really need to have main character deaths? Not really. I know they need to up the stakes, make you feel like, oh my gosh, Earthrealmers, you know, so and so's dead. Oh my god! Like if they kill off Johnny Cage this early in the tournament, in the first tournament, I reckon there's going to be a lot of angry fans. You're going to bring Johnny Cage in to kill him off, just to get that bump, that oomph. So I don't think you should kill off Johnny Cage. Not yet. Not until a certain Earth invasion. You know, leave it for now. So who realistically could they kill off? Don't know. But they better not kill off Liu Kang either. They better not. But yeah, it's quite hard to think what they're gonna do. What could they do? I mean, the battles, because we don't know who's coming in on the Earth realms, Outworld side. We can't really think up who's going to verse who. Yeah, it's going to be quite hard. I mean, obviously, they could bring in the likes of Baraka, you know, or Atar Cotton. They could do, but who could that person go up against? Now, I liked how they did it in Mortal Kombat 9, where Johnny Cage fought Baraka, talking about, you know, makeup and things like that, not realizing that it's actually real. They could play to that. That would be a good nod to Mortal Kombat 9. And it actually works. You know, Johnny Cage, you know, thinking that he's still in the movie world or whatever. Not really taking anything seriously. So that could be a matchup. So you got a Johnny Cage versus Baraka matchup. Who else? I mean, okay. Who could realistically Sonya fight now? If they could bring on Outworld female characters, I know it's a cliche having a female versus a female, but people are going to do that first. So let's just get it out of the way. Melina probably have that rematch. They could do. They could have that rematch and then have Sonya play to the fact that Melina in the first one said that you're not worthy, or what was it? Not any worth in her death, and then Sonya say, "Am I worthy now?" You could have that. It all depends how they bring back Melina. You think that they'd have to bring back Melina. They'd have to do it. Or if they do bring back Melina in a different form, but still played by Cece Stringer, it could be the old Terminator 2 or Terminator 3 type scenario where they just come off an assembly line and they don't know what's happened before. They just go by orders. They could go that route and just have Melinas everywhere. An army of Melinas. That's interesting. Have an army of Melinas. Obviously, then, you come back to the main Melina and she is what we expect, So, yeah, that's another possible matchup. We also expect the obvious, which would be Liu Kang to face off against Shang Tsung. That's the main. That's probably a given. We need that. I don't want a Cole Young being in there in place, and then he becomes the champion, and because of studio interference. We don't want any of that. Thank you very much. What else could we expect? Obviously, a lead up to another one. we need that lead up to another one. It's not that Marvel started it off with cutscene after cutscene of, oh, look what's coming next. But yeah, obviously we need this to succeed and be good at the same time to warrant another sequel, because my feeling is this movie is the be all and end all of the franchise as we know it. Because I don't want to wait another 20 or 30 years for another reboot. So they've got to near enough put all their eggs in one basket here. They've got to make the best movie possible. They've got to, in my mind, deal with the issues of the first film. Why was Raiden making poor decisions? Why was he not the Raiden we expected? Why did he look dejected? They've got to, address that. They've got to try and address that. Obviously, show the loss of Liu Kang. When it comes to Kung Lao, he's struggling with that while also struggling trying to fight for Earthrealm. They've got to put that in. What else? What else could they do? Could we see an early rise of the Deadly Alliance between Shang Tsung and Quan Chi? Could we see that? Now, I would want that. It's something I would want. But could that be in there as either a hint? We'd all like Quan Chi to rear his ugly head. Corey's jumped in. Hello, Corey. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I'm just going over what to realistically expect in the film, in the sequel. So I'm just trying to formulate what I would like in there. I've already gone through the obvious, which is the tournament itself. What else? What was it? Oh, yeah, the Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. That's an obvious expectation. I don't know of any other expectations apart from stages. Obviously, the pit needs to be there. It has to be there. I talked about the Warrior Shrine. I'd like that to be there, but I would personally like the statues themselves to look like different warriors of the past, especially ones from Outworld warriors, not particularly Earthrealm warriors, because it's Shang's island. So he's going to want to demoralize the Earthrealmers as much as possible. So I also I come up with the idea that throwing an Easter egg to Shaolin monks and have a statue of Ermac there and have that lingering. It could just be there as a watcher. Have Ermac in there as a watcher and be a statue in the Warrior's Shrine. I reckon that'd be a wicked idea. Yeah, it's a given. It has to be there. Have it be the actual final battle of the tournament. It could be that, or you could do the Shaolin monks route and have it be like a brawl at the end. Have a massive brawl at the end. Shang Tsung's basically beaten, but then the tournament's already, gone awry. There's no control, and everyone's just battling each other as Shang Tsung destroys his island, as he feels that's the last hope of just not ending the tournament, but continuing the tournament. So in this film, the tournament's not officially over. That's how I'd see it. Shang Tsung destroys his island. No one, the tournament has to continue somehow. That's how I see it anyway. But yeah, Shang Tsung and Liu Kang is it's got to be there. I don't know if you have any other ideas on what other things you expect in the film. So you could write that down if you want. But I think now I'm going to get into what I would want personally, how I would obviously want the film to go. I've gone over this so many times. But I would expect. Hang on a minute. Let's get me up here. No, wrong one. Here we go. Right. Personally, what I would expect is the elder gods of getting involved. They need to get involved because they've given enough rope for Shang Tsung to hang himself. So the elder gods realise Earthrealm and Outworld have broken the rules. What are they supposed to do? What punishments could they give? The punishments they can give to both sides is just bring back to life everyone that died, which would mean the souls that Shang Tsung had stolen, the elder gods are going to have to take them back. They're going to have to. So doing this would kind of weaken Shang Tsung to the point where he looks old again. So then you got the Shang Tsung that looks like he does almost in Mortal Kombat 1 the game. Almost the old style, the old man Shang Tsung. I did mention Quan Chi in there, and what I would do for him is, because he's of the Nether Realm, the elder gods can't control what Nether Realm do. So Quan Chi would trap the soul of Kung Lao and hover it over Shang Tsung's head to do kind of his bidding, or form that deadly alliance, or at least a pact. That's how I'd use Quan Chi, get him in there. And then this would open up a secondary plot to the film outside of the tournament. Now, why would you need a plot outside of the tournament? Because I don't think there's many people that would want Cole Young in the tournament itself. So, how can you please both sides? You got the side that don't want him in, and then you got the studio. The studio obviously want to push their character, and I know for a fact that Louis Tan would want his character to shine. So if I have a secondary plot of a NetherRealm invasion, then there'd be a reason for Earthrealmers to protect Earthrealm while the tournament is happening. So why would Cole Young be there instead of in the tournament? Now, we all know that Liu Kang is a much better fighter than Cole Young. Like, miles better. What's his? I feel. What's his? I feel bad for Cole Young slandering. He wasn't that bad. It wasn't. I can see that there's more to be brought out from the character, which is why I'm doing this secondary plot. It's all to revolve around him, basically. It's to take him out, but keep him relevant. So this is what I'm going to get into now, basically. The tournament requires the best fighters. Cole Young knows he's nowhere near as good as Liu Kang. So, with the secondary plot of the Netherrealm invasion, Cole Young would say, I am much better here than I would be in the tournament. He would implore Liu Kang to win the tournament for Earthrealm while Cole Young starves off the attack from Netherrealm. That's how I would do it. You give Liu Kang the boost that character needs, especially in this, because I felt like in the first film, he kind of like seemed really down on himself. He didn't seem confident, even though he's supposed to be this top fighter. He seemed like he was always down and in the shadow of Kung Lao. That's how I saw it, anyway. So you do need Liu Kang to have that boost. And I reckon Cole Young should give him that boost, because at the minute, Raiden feels like I feel really down. I can't give Liu Kang the boost, but Cole Young does. So Cole Young says, you're the much better fighter. You have the better chance of winning the tournament than he does, basically. So it gives Liu Kang that boost to actually, oh, okay, maybe I am that one. The secondary plot would have Cole Young almost spearhead the defense from the Netherrealm attack. Now, why would the Netherrealm attack happen if the Elder Gods could control everything, and stop this attack on Earthrealm? Netherrealm isn't involved in the tournament. The tournament is between Earthrealm and Outworld. Now, if Outworld was to invade, the Elder Gods can intervene. But Netherrealm, that can do what they want. The Elder Gods can't do anything. So, which is why I've had this sort of deadly alliance between Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, and have Quan Chi hover Cole Young's soul above Shang Tsung, saying, if you want this, then you're going to have to do something for us. Which would be to help Quan Chi open up a portal into Netherrealm, but have the entrance or exit being Earthrealm. Now, it's not him that's invading Earthrealm, is it? No. But Quan Chi can use that portal to his advantage. That's how I'd do it. Now, Cole Young spearheading this defense. Who else would I have there in the defense? I would have the likes of the people that weren't in the Mortal Kombat 1 game. So that would include Jax. That would include Nightwolf. That would include Fujin. Who else? Who else could I have in there? Also, I'd include Striker. I'd have Striker in there. Now, why would I have all these characters when I got characters in the tournament? Now, in the tournament, you've got all the characters there that we already know. Obviously, apart from the people who Outworld might bring in. But the reason for the secondary plot and bringing all these extra characters is it's not a cameo, not an extended cameo. It's to showcase these characters. You bring them in and go, oh my God, I can't wait for them to be in the next one. So you bring these extra characters in as a defense in the secondary plot. while the tournament's going on, while you're playing the first game, there could be something happening outside that we don't know about. And this is my idea for the secondary plot. Cole Young has obviously mastered his abilities. He can now fully form this, his shield. I'm going to call it his shield. He can now fully form it over him as if he's like a knight. He can control that. He can also form different types of weaponry. He can form not just his batons. He can form blades. He can form knives, machetes, axes, even mallets. He can also form defensive, which I think could come into play more because he's more of a defensive fighter. He's not an attacking fighter. So he can do more defensive stuff. So he can form shields. He can form umbrellas from incoming attacks. He can also form walls, to try and potentially block off a small horde. To give time for his buddies to formulate an attack. There's things like that. So who else would I bring in? Now, people keep saying, "Oh, Sub-Zero died, so bring in Noob Saibot." I say no, because in my idea of the Elder Gods bringing back people that have died, this would also include Bihan as Sub-Zero. So Sub-Zero returns. Also, this would mean Goro returns. This would mean Kano returns. So with the Sub-Zero thing, he's obviously at the moment on the side of Outworld, so he's going to be at the tournament. So I'd also bring in his younger brother, Koi Lang. Now, why would I bring him in? How could he fit? You drop in something small coming from the Lin Kuei, that word has been brought to the Lin Kuei that Sub-Zero has failed, and it angers Koi Lang, and he wants to find out who killed Sub-Zero. So, under the orders of the Grandmaster, of no, you can't go. Basically, he signed his fate. He signed his fate. You've got to stay here. If you leave, there will be consequences. So, of course, Koi Lang, at this moment, being dubbed the new Sub-Zero, he wants to go and find his brother's killers. They forbid him to do it. So he then goes, "Stuff you lot, I'm going." Now, because he's going, he's now the consequences are he's being followed by the Lin Kuei. So they appoint ninjas to retrieve him or whatever. So when they bring him in, hang on, I'm just doing something here. I just need to right. Okay, yeah. When they bring him in, obviously Sub-Zero is going to be in Earthrealm, so you introduce him in the secondary plot, and there's a thing I've got in my mind. How do I introduce him into the fray? You have the likes of Kung Lao and Jax. They're fighting off a horde, and they're being overrun until jumping in from almost out of nowhere is Koi Lang. Now he lands on the floor, and as he hits the floor, it's as if he's hit a ball of ice into the ground. This ball of ice would shatter from the ground up and spike up, basically spiking all the horde. Now, I do drawings, so I'm going to put this up again. And this is my drawing. This is how I see it. So, you got Cole Young, Jax, and then Sub-Zero jumps in, hits the ground with an ice ball, and spikes come up. That's how I see it. So I drew it. Yeah, that's how I drew my idea. I thought, right, it'd be a nice way to introduce Sub-Zero, and with the obviously everyone's played Mortal Kombat 11 with the outro of Sub-Zero where he forms an ice ball, and then when he hits the ground, it spikes up a little bit. That's where I got the idea from. So there we go. That's how I'd introduce Koi Lang. Now he wants to know, where is my brother's killer? Now, Ko Young is there, but he's going to say, obviously, Scorpion. It's my ancestor. What do you want to know? Who are you? He goes, I'm the brother. And you could have this interaction between Ko Young and Sub-Zero, Koi Lang, that he was trying to kill my family. I was trying to protect my family. Which then, Sub-Zero is going to be like, well, where's Scorpion? And he's like, well, he's at the tournament. He goes, how do I get there? He goes, well, we're going to have to fend this off first, and I'll tell you. So, of course, Koi Lang reluctantly helps, and that's how I see that. Other ideas. What else have I got? Okay, I keep forgetting. So if I go back into this, what else have I got? Yeah, the return of Reptile. Now, there was a video today that Future Boy posted up, and he went over actually my idea of how would Reptile come back? How could he bring it back? He was killed by Kano. He had his heart ripped out. Now, I had the idea of when the order from Shang Tsung was to send Syzoth, Reptile, to deal with the problem of Ko Young and Sonya and Kano, you could have the idea of Syzoth himself going, I'm not going to go into a 3-on-1. Am I stupid? So he sends an underling in his stead to act as if it's him. So the Reptile we see in the film is not actually Reptile. Now, would Reptile in the second film look like this? I have an idea that it's not like that. Now, this isn't an underspecies of Reptile. How I'd have Reptile, because there's a lot. Well, when I say we, there's a few people that want the humanoid-looking version, the more ninja-looking version. Now, what if Reptile, Syzoth, had the ability of micro bone manipulation? Now, what do you mean? You're probably saying, what do you mean by that? Now, Reptile, we know, can go stealth mode, almost invisible. What if he doesn't sometimes need invisibility? What if sometimes he just needs to blend in and look more human? Now, how can you do that? The idea of micro bone manipulation is that he can, with his snout, he can actually manipulate the bones to look more human. So to hide the fact that he's a bit more scaly, he could actually wrap up himself to look more like a ninja and walk amongst humanoids. So he's hiding in plain sight. That's how I would do it. Hide him in plain sight. So he's not just invisible, but he could be standing right next to you. Because you don't suspect someone looking human. Basically, you stand at the bus stop, you see someone stand next to you, you don't really care. Now, if a lizard, an 8-foot lizard stood next to you, you're going to be like, oh my God. you're going to see it. You're going to notice it. It's going to be right there. So that's my idea for Reptile. And, I'm glad that Future Boy likes it and he mentioned it. It's a good idea. So yeah, that's a way to bring him back. What else have I got? Right. Definitely. In the tournament itself, please give Scorpion his definitive victory. What do you mean definitive victory? In the first film, Scorpion needed Ko Young to defeat Sub-Zero. Was Sub-Zero overpowered? Yeah, but Scorpion's supposed to be, you know, the top this top tier fighter. So throughout the tournament, you can have Sub-Zero protected under Quan Chi. That means protected from Scorpion. Scorpion being somewhat of a puppet master of Scorpion, you could say you cannot touch Sub-Zero, otherwise I will not bring back your family. Some sort of mental manipulation. And you will fight for Outworld. Now, how can you get Sub-Zero to fight Scorpion? Sub-Zero could taunt Scorpion saying, you couldn't beat me. You needed your ancestor to beat me. I will always be better than you. And this could just tear into Scorpion, just really boil his fire. So, in the tournament, Scorpion just doesn't want to fight. But he has to. So you could have him kill off some random... well, no, don't have him fight yet. I'm going to save it. But Raiden could say to Scorpion, or drop the hint, that even though you're fighting for Outworld, did you choose to fight for Outworld? You know, did you choose? And Scorpion could think, well, actually, no, I didn't. He didn't personally choose to fight for Outworld. So this makes him think, how could he fight? How can he fight Sub-Zero? You could then, in a moment, in one of the grand fights of the film, you have the rematch between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and you could have Scorpion say something along the lines of, I'm at peace with my family being dead. All that matters now is the continuation of Earthrealm. So I choose to fight for Earth, and I challenge you, Sub-Zero, to Mortal Kombat. Have their fight. I don't want to go into detail, but the ending shows Scorpion getting his definitive victory over Sub-Zero, which would then lead to Sub-Zero becoming Noob Saibot in the next film. That's how I'd do it. That's how I'd do it. Getting close to the end now, so I'll get into the last fight. Now, obviously, with Goro being there, I don't want to get into who would fight Goro, who would beat Goro. I don't want to get into that. But I want to get into the ending. How would I do the ending? I want to give a big, massive nod to Shaolin monks. I would have the last fight be between, obviously, Liu Kang and Shang Tsung. Is it a sanctioned fight? Almost, because the tournament is kind of breaking out of control. There's fights happening everywhere. Raiden has lost his powers because of something. I've got an idea on that, but I can get into that another time. And it's actually Shang Tsung that has actually beaten Raiden in a fight. And Raiden is now powerless. And Liu Kang is the remaining person to fight him. So he challenges him to Mortal Kombat. Now he challenges Shang Tsung to Mortal Kombat. It's going to be the last fight of the tournament. But there's fights happening around. There's battles happening around. So Liu Kang's getting the better of Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung's feeling, oh crap, what can I do? So he then uses the image of Kung Lao to get the upper hand and then start beating up Liu Kang. Liu Kang's been beat. He's been knocked around and it's almost the end. Liu Kang's basically, it's almost fatality time for Liu Kang. I'd have Shang Tsung say, Earthrealm put up a good fight, but you've lost. Earthrealm has lost. Your friends have lost. then have Liu Kang go into his mind and hear a voice that he heard from back when he was in the temple training with Kung Lao, and he's hearing the voice in his head saying, "You need to calm yourself. You need to recenter. Be aware of your surroundings." And Liu Kang gets back up, and he starts doing like a form, like a kung fu form, and there's flames trailing. And the way I see Liu Kang rejuvenating is the fire is actually healing him. He can actually heal himself through meditation, and this fire is absorbing the heat and the fire, and he's recentering his soul, and the cuts and the bruises are healing. And Shang Tsung's like, "Oh, what is this?" And then it cuts to Raiden, and he says, Raiden's got like a smirk on his face, and he realizes this is Earthrealm's victory. So Liu Kang, he's got all this energy, he's back to full health, and he's now using his fire to help his friends in their fight. So he's fireball there, he's starving off all the guards. Shang Tsung then goes, "I can't have any of this," so he fires an endless ball of fire at Shang Tsung. And I've also done a drawing on this. So there's a shot that I would like to see. The shot I'd like to see is this. Boom. Shang Tsung, Liu Kang, fireball met in the middle. It's like an endless stream. Shang Tsung is like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And he goes, "You cannot win. You cannot win." Which is another nod to Mortal Kombat 9. You cannot win. And then Liu Kang would say, "You have already lost." And then he stretches out his hand, his free hand. And as you see here, the Mortal Kombat dragon, the fire comes up. And then what he does with this is instead of dropping it on top of him, I'm going to have it going from behind and phasing through Liu Kang with both hands outstretched, and then just obliterating Shang Tsung. Not killing Shang Tsung, not killing him, but basically he's finished. It's the end. And that's how I'd have Liu Kang beat Shang Tsung. So there we go. You have Raiden saying, they have the bow, and Raiden, congratulates him on defeating Outworld. Johnny Cage comes up with his quips saying, "Yeah, we beat those Outland asses." Now I say Outland because it's Johnny Cage, so he's gonna not really get it still. And then in this moment, I'd have Shang Tsung use whatever energy he's got left to start destroying the island, because he's not fully defeated. He hasn't given up. The twist would be the tournament continues. He didn't kill Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung didn't really. Well, he's still active. He didn't lose, didn't concede. The tournament continues, which is why I'd have it lead into the Outworld tournament in a third sequel. But there we have it. I think I've gone through it. That's how I'd do it. That's what I would expect. That's what I expect in a sequel in terms of my ideas. But we'll have to see how it goes, see what other details Todd Gardner comes up with. Now with them teaming up with Ed Boon and Ed Boon on board, things could be more grounded. In terms of the mark could be pushed back a bit more. Instead of it being something you get and then you got your powers, it could be more of it's an invitation and they're only limited, because otherwise Raiden could just invite the entire UFC to the tournament and the tournament would just last forever. You see what I mean? So it's more of You're invited. It's an invitation mark. Because, you know, Johnny Cage, we know Johnny Cage has this green energy. Now, he didn't get that green energy from a mark. It's something passed down through his heritage. So, they could get away with that and say, okay, maybe humans have this power and they don't need the mark, but they established that the marking is an invite to the tournament. Now, this can only be done once, because after the Mortal Kombat tournament, it's kind of a free-for-all after that. There's hardly any tournament apart from the Outworld tournament, and that's something that's agreed upon between Earthrealm and Outworld as a final solution. So, because there's no other Mortal Kombat tournaments after the first one, this can be used once, and everyone will be fine with that. After that, you don't really need the marking. There'll be no point for the marking after every film after that, if they decide to do more sequels. That's how they could get around it. But there you go. There's my ideas. Feel free to challenge or make up your own. Or if you want me to expand on more, it's, you know, hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Dave Savage 1982. And we'll just discuss it. And the more information that comes out, the more I'm going to be inclined to do more streams. Now, I barely do streams now, but I normally do streams based on my ideas or something that's coming out with the films. I will try and get more guests to see, you know, what they feel, what they want, and you know, try and discuss more. So everyone's invited. All you got to do is drop me a DM if you have ideas. I'm happy to discuss things with you. But there we go. Thank you very much. I'm going to go now. It's just under an hour. I said half an hour, so it looks like I lied. I knew we talk about my ideas. It's going to be more. There's going to be more time to flesh them out. But I've said all this before. I'm happy to go over them again if people want me to go over them again. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Hopefully there's more news and we can start getting excited for a second film. And let's see where it goes. So thank you very much. See you all later. Your view is mine. See you later. Bye-bye.